All right, so here we go. Yes, we have very big news about Cyberpunk 2077. This is excellent news for the future of this franchise, and I really think that CD Projekt Red is going to reinvest heavily into Cyberpunk, especially when we're talking about a sequel. Of course, we're going to be getting that very big expansion, which, by the way, we have some new updates about that one. And are we really getting only one expansion? A lot of people are assuming after the most recent CD Projekt Red financial call, is that really true? We've had some promises from CD Projekt Red previously that we would be getting as much expansions as DLC as The Witcher 3, but for Cyberpunk, is that actually going to be panning out? So let's first of all start here with this headline right here. It says Cyberpunk Next Gen saw 600% PlayStation, 800% Xbox sales boost. That is absolutely incredible numbers right there. And this comes from Forbes and also the CD Projekt Red financial call. But you could see the staggering difference as we headed into Q1 2022, how much of a difference the Next Gen update made to sales for PlayStation and Xbox. So many people were really willing to try out Cyberpunk during that period, and we kind of saw a new audience from that. But yeah, to me, that tells me a lot, and also tells CD Projekt Red a lot that, oh, Cyberpunk is definitely something that they will not, of course, abandon, especially when it comes to the long term. Now, things get a little bit complicated and dicey when we talk about what engine Cyberpunk 2077 is using, which of course is Red Engine 2.0. So that begs the question, is it really true that CD Projekt Red is going to be essentially, I hate to say, abandoning Cyberpunk 2077 after the first expansion? Would we be getting a second expansion? So let's dive into that a little bit more right now. Here's the headline right here. It says, Cyberpunk might receive only one expansion after all. And honestly, that hurts to hear big time, but as long as it's really good, I'm going to be happy. But I want more with this game, of course. Now, they go on to say this during a Q1 financial 22 earnings call earlier today. CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaninski stated that the upcoming expansion is the last product based on Red Engine, and any further product will be on Unreal Engine. And of course, they're going to start out with the new Witcher games. They're going to be on Unreal Engine 5. That tells me a lot. Honestly, that right there is just them saying that there's going to be only one big expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. And from there on, they're going to have to move on and start, I think, by 2023 or later in 2023, we would see them finally pursuing parallel development between Cyberpunk 2, the sequel, and The Witcher 4. That's just going to be my assessment of things. I think that's going to how it's going to be. But yeah, we do have some interesting details about the upcoming expansion and DLC. Check this out right here. It says Cyberpunk leak may offer big clues about long-awaited DLC. And it goes on to say this right here. Says the following: the files in question were seemingly accidentally added to the game around the time of its massive 1.5 update in February, but only shared recently on Reddit by user Romulus UT3. The post and files, which appeared to contain a huge swath of English script from the upcoming DLC missions, were later deleted, but not before spreading online through the Cyberpunk community. So there's also rumors that these posts were copyright striked and taken down, which could mean that, hey, the leak might actually be legit. Now, since this is a leak, some of you may want to actually bail out of this video. I don't blame you. I'm not going to go into like super spoilery details about the story. It's just like generalization that you would probably see from a trailer eventually. So that's how I assess it. And we get an idea of what to expect from the actual locations that we will be exploring in the expansion. Of course, take this stuff with a grain of salt. It is a leak, but since it's been removed, there is some validation to the leak, I guess you would say. Anyway, it says the big highlight is that much of the new story missions, there appear to be 7 in total, at least in the time of this leak, at the time of this leak, seem to take place in Night City's Pacifica Zone and let players explore previously inaccessible areas like the Sports Dome. That sounds like a really cool combat location to me. Now, it says the home of refugees in the wake of Hades' destruction due to global warming, Pacifica is run by a netrunner gang called the Voodoo Boys, which uses its powers to eke out a life and religious existence outside the stranglehold of Cyberpunk's corporations and corporate government agencies. So yeah, it'd be cool to see more from the Voodoo Boys for sure. I actually love that part of the story where you interact with them. Now, it says this right here. It's drenched in sunlight and oozing with color and cuts a stark contrast with the darker, more conventional neon-fueled streets of Central Night City. To put it plainly, it's one of the stronger parts of the underlying game and ripe for more content. I agree. I hope they really flesh out this specific area. Now, it says at the center of these new missions appears to be a character called Songbird, who wasn't in the base game, as well as a new part of Pacifica called the Combat Zone. Hopefully it's more inspired than it sounds. Now, this Combat Zone, by the way, remember it was mentioned several times before Cyberpunk came out. I think it was cut content. So I think a lot of this expansion, just to be blunt with you all, is going to be a lot of the cut content that was originally supposed to be in the game. I think Pacifica was supposed to be fully fleshed out, realized with the vanilla version of this game. So yeah, that's something to consider right there. But I think a lot of you guys will be happy to hear, according to this leak, if it comes out to be true, that we would be in Night City, a more fully fleshed out Night City Pacifica, exploring it and experiencing, I hope, richer features that they add back into this game. Because a lot of you guys are not willing to leave Night City right now. You want to see more from Night City, which I don't blame you. Now, it goes on to say this. Other notable details from the apparent leak are that it takes place prior to the end of the game and will factor into revised endings depending on how you play. It also sounds like Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves' character, will play little to no role in it, which isn't too surprising if you consider the casting challenges, and costs of getting new voice work from an A-list talent years after development. Yeah, I don't expect Keanu Reeves to appear in this DLC whatsoever, just because of cost, the time to get him into the studio, and honestly how the game was first received. I don't know if Keanu would be willing to do it anyway, but maybe he would, given the positive light from the next gen update. Let me know if you guys want to see more Johnny Silverhand. I myself, I think it would be cool. I'm on the fence about it. I don't really mind, but I think the idea of a new character for me personally is very intriguing, and I'm curious to see what they do with that. Now, will V return? I don't know. It does not seem like there's any indication that that's going to be happening. Now, we have this one right here. Here's another headline for you all. It says, exclusive Cyberpunk Blackout Issue 3 cover has been revealed. The third issue of Cyberpunk Blackout series is out in August, everyone. If you missed this, is the comic book series. Let's take a look at the cover art. It looks actually really, really cool right here, as you can see. And I'm curious to see what blackout exactly means in terms of, cyberpunk world. Of course, you can imagine the city getting blacked out, all sorts of stuff. But yes, it seems like it's going to be more about like the dreamscape type, I guess you'd say landscape that they're going to be exploring in this one. And I cannot wait to see what they do with that. All right, so it's time to go over your top comments from my most recent Cyberpunk video. Remember to leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a video, but let's do this. My most recent Cyberpunk video was right here. It says, did Cyberpunk really just abandon this? How could the game survive this? So let's keep going here. Let's see what you guys had to say about this one. And if you guys are wondering what the video was about, check it out on the channel, but the gist of it is this. Yes, looks like CD Projekt Red is moving on from Red Engine to scrapping it, getting rid of it completely, and moving into Unreal Engine 5 forever. And it's kind of a bummer. It's very bittersweet for me because what I'm seeing right now is just beautiful. This is Red Engine 2, so hopefully they can match this with Unreal Engine 5, and honestly, I think they can. Now we have Furious Furon, who says this, would prefer that they add more features than a bunch of missions you will play once, then forget. Like New Game Plus, Transmog, better combat balance so the game isn't so easy, more interaction with NPCs, better police AI. All of this stuff should be out by the expansion. Honestly, a lot of the stuff I hope that they do add for free, and then they release the expansion, and the expansion really fully fleshes out Night City and Pacifica, and we have like the game we've always dreamed of. That would be really, really cool, but I think what's going to happen is going to be bittersweet. A lot of us are going to want more, and I don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait with what CD Projekt Red is going to say, but I think it's going to be very difficult doing parallel development between two games that are using two different engines. You know, they're going to want to have a cohesive vision here between everything that they're doing, and that's going to be Unreal Engine 5. Now, Jayla says this: I grew up to like Johnny by the end of the game, but I would not want to play a game based solely around him as he was before meeting V. Egotistical, narcissistic, paranoid, and delusional. Plenty of those protagonists already. Hashtag hard pass. So a lot of you guys did not like this idea of a Johnny Silverhand standalone type first person shooter. It was this really interesting article I found, and I thought it would be pretty cool to see that. But a lot of you also know how, in my personal opinion, unlikable Johnny is throughout a lot of the game, and it would probably be tough to see him as a protagonist. Maybe let me know your take on it. Now we have this one. Cerberus Forever says all of these companies designing their own engines have faced enormous challenges and delays. Look at DICE and remember that the new Starfield is on a new upgraded engine. It slows down everything. Also allows the team to hire people who already have familiarity with the engine they use. Cyberpunk did look great, but who cares? The next games will look great as well, and they might be able to get it out much sooner since they won't be sweating engine updates and revisions. There it is. Well said right there. I totally agree. And they're going to be able to borrow any of the things that the Witcher team have learned from Unreal Engine 5. If something major or groundbreaking is learned from that team, there's going to be like a universal approach, and they'll be able to communicate with one another. So that's going to be the huge advantage here with using Unreal Engine 5. But there it is, everyone. The latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.